Let's get started with our first news. Colby Covington on what's next in his career. Colby Covington shares his thoughts on the next chapter of his MMA career after suffering back-to-back losses. A unanimous decision loss to Leon Edwards in December 2023 and a TKO by Dr. Stoppage against Joaquin Buckley in December 2024 have left Covington in a tough spot. Now, he finds himself ranked number 9 in the welterweight division, a position he is not used to being in. Despite these recent setbacks, Colby remains confident and determined. He has made it clear that he still wants to fight the biggest names in the sport, aiming for legacy fights rather than working his way back up the rankings against lesser-known opponents. In a recent interview on Tim Welch's YouTube channel, Colby discussed his future plans and what kind of fights interest him moving forward. If you want to catch the full conversation, be sure to check out the link in the description. I mean, anybody that has a big name, you know, big fights, whatever the biggest and best fights that I can get done for the UFC, that's what I want to do. You know, we gotta see how things are going. There's a couple people that have been running my name through their mouth, so you know they can get their mouth shut for sure. But you know, I gotta see what the UFC wants to do, and I want legacy fights, you know, big fights, former champions, you know, big high-level fights, not guys that are just coming up and just starting to build their name. Because I've been here, I've done that. You know, I'm a world champion. It doesn't matter what my ranking is. I'm the champion of the division. I'm the biggest draw and the biggest star in the division. So, you know, anytime I fight, it's a championship fight. So we just got to see how the landscape and things play out and how this title fight goes. And then, you know, we go from there. When asked about when he would like to return to action, Covington gave a rough timeline for his next fight. Yeah, I think, you know, end of summer, early fall. I think that, you know, I want to get into a good training camp. I've been busy with The Ultimate Fighter. I've been traveling around. I'm going to New York today, obviously, as I said, with the K brothers. So, yeah, I think fall makes sense. It remains to be seen who Covington will face next, but with his star power and ability to sell fights, there's no doubt that the UFC will be looking to book him against a well-known name. Whether it's a top-ranked contender, a former champion, or even a big-money grudge match, Covington will be looking to make a statement in his next fight. Who do you think he should fight next? Let us know in the comments. Moving on to our second big story of the day, Shawn Brady has made a bold claim regarding his fight against Leon Edwards, stating that he beat the former champion in a more dominant fashion than Belal Muhammad did. Brady and Muhammad both relied heavily on grappling when they faced Edwards inside the octagon. However, while Belal secured a hard-fought unanimous decision victory over the British fighter, Brady took things a step further by submitting Edwards in the 4th round via guillotine choke. That finish, according to Brady, is what separates his win from Muhammad's. Speaking to the media, Brady explained his perspective in no uncertain terms. That's how you beat Leon. The blueprint was kind of written in a lot of his fights, and I just did it a lot better than I think anyone else has been able to. Even when he shot on me, Leon's a very technical fighter, but when you make it a real hard fight, he tends to break. I could see he was breaking, and I knew he broke once he shot on me because that's the last place he would want to be, on the ground with me. So once I knew he wanted to grapple with me, I knew it was going to be over soon. Brady also took direct aim at Muhammad's performance against Edwards, believing his own win was far more convincing. I think I did a lot better than Belal did. I think Belal lost a couple of rounds. He had his back taken for an entire round. I think it was 3-2 when they fought. I dominated Leon every round. No one's ever done it like me. And then I submitted him and made him quit in front of his hometown. Brady made it clear that fighting in his hometown of Philadelphia would never result in the same outcome for him. If we were in Philly, you ain't making me quit in front of my hometown. I'll tell you that. I'm going to sleep, son, so just remember that. To further support his case, Brady compared his recent competition to that of top contender Shavkat Rakhmonov. If you look at the people I've been beating versus Shavkat, I think I have a pretty good record. Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards, my last two, versus his last two, Stephen Thompson and Ian Gary. I've got a nice little record going, but I just want to keep adding names to my resume, and we'll see what happens. Brady clearly feels his wins over elite competition set him apart, and now the question is, who will be next on his hit list? Moving on to another exciting development in the welterweight division, Michael Venom Page, MVP, has made it clear that he wants to fight either Colby Covington or Kamaru Usman next. MVP is fresh off an impressive unanimous decision victory over the dangerous striker Shara Bullet, a fight that took place this past February. With that win under his belt, Page is looking ahead to even bigger challenges and calling out some of the biggest names in the division. During a recent fan Q&A session, MVP shared his thoughts on his next potential opponent, hinting that certain fighters may be hesitant to face him. He expressed his frustration with the lack of responses from top contenders and made it clear that he's ready for a high-profile showdown. I don't know if that last fight worried a few people, but everyone seems a bit silent. There's many names out there. I think me and Usman would be a good fight, but it was his comments about Colby Covington that truly stood out. While MVP didn't give a specific reason, he seemed particularly eager to get his hands on the former interim champion. I want to punch Colby in his face for some reason. I don't know why. MVP's signature flashy style and unorthodox striking make him a difficult opponent for anyone, and he seems confident that he can make a statement against either Covington or Usman. He also teased the possibility of delivering another highlight reel knockout, referencing his famous flying knee finish from a past fight. I'm just waiting for them to respond to the call. I'm hoping for a repeat of a jumping knee to the face. You all saw how that went, so I'm hoping for 2 more big fights this year. With the welterweight division stacked with contenders, MVP has a lot of options for his next move, but he made it clear that he has a specific plan in mind for 2025. If I get to punch Colby in the face and then somebody else that's ranked in the top 10, top 5, then that's a good year. Page's confidence and aggressive call-outs suggest that he's looking to make a serious impact in the UFC welterweight division this year. Whether he gets a fight with Covington, Usman, or another top contender remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, MVP is ready to take on the biggest names and deliver another unforgettable performance inside the octagon. Moving on to another news. Charles Oliveira calls out Islam Makhachev for International Fight Week. Although the MMA world continues to buzz about the possibility of Islam Makhachev fighting Ilia Topuria next, Charles Oliveira has not given up campaigning for a rematch with the lightweight king. Ever since Topuria announced that he was vacating the featherweight title, there's been endless speculation about if and when he will battle Makhachev. Although the lightweight champion has said he's not overly interested in fighting Topuria since Islam has already defeated Alexander Volkanovski twice, talk about that matchup continues to make the rounds. As noted, however, Do Bronx has been driving hard for a rematch with Makhachev, and recently he argued a fight between Islam and Topuria wouldn't be all that big. More recently, via his social media, Oliveira called out Makhachev again. Hey everyone, good morning, afternoon, or evening. In the UFC and MMA, many guys are talking too much about history. I can speak on this. I've been here for 15 years. Most bonuses, most finishes, record breaker, that's me. Got it? I want to fight on International Fight Week against Makhachev too. Dana, Shawn, Shelby, Hunter, make it happen. I really want this fight. I'm after that belt. I want to be champ again. I'm ready to write history one more time. UFC, let's make this happen. This is the fight everyone wants to see. I'm ready. Islam's talking big about wanting this fight, so it'll be a war for sure. Is this the fight you want? It's the fight you'll get. Just give me a call. Meanwhile, Topuria has already fired back at Oliveira. El Matador posted, Charles, it's better if you stay quiet. You have 10 losses, 5 by knockout, 4 by submission, and 1 by decision. You are the contender, while I am the champion, the father of the entire division. I haven't come here to ask for anything. Here, I am the one in charge. What do you make of Oliveira's campaign to secure a rematch with Makhachev? And even if he doesn't get tapped for a lightweight title shot, do you think the UFC would go with Oliveira ahead of, say, Justin Gaethje? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Moving on to another news, Tom Aspinall met with Dana White and Hunter Campbell. Aspinall announced that he had a meeting scheduled with Dana White and Hunter Campbell to explore potential opponents beyond Jon Jones. Today, during an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Aspinall shared that following the meeting, he feels optimistic about his future. Tom said, I'm feeling like we're in a good spot right now. First and foremost, I like fighting people. That's what I like to do. If I'm not doing that, I feel a little bit lost. That's what I like to do. That's the most important thing for me, and I've not been doing that over the last 7 months. After the meeting, I'm feeling very optimistic about things. I'm in a really good spot with everything in my future moving forward. It's really exciting times. The break, it's not a massive break to be honest. People are saying, oh, John Jones is holding up your career. It's only been 7 months, not too bad. I don't want to say too much, but exciting stuff in the future for sure. Moving on to another news, the MMA community is not happy with UFC London. The UFC has had plenty of jaw-dropping moments in England over the years, but the latest card in London is taking some serious fire from the MMA world. The event was headlined by former welterweight champion Leon Edwards versus Shawn Brady. While there were some notable finishes, like Brady submitting Edwards, 9 of the fights went to the judges' scorecards. Not only was the card very long, there wasn't even a stacked lineup of household names. Here's some of the fiery feedback UFC London received. I've lost count of how many UFC events I've attended, but I can't remember one ever being this lackluster. It's not the same as 15 years ago. Too many events spreading the quality too thinly. Testing has unfortunately made it worse. The Apex, too many cheap contender series, fighters just relying on the brand. That will only last until fans see through it. Ridiculous prices for a watered-down product. UFC is spreading too thin. Too many events are watering down the product. Yes, we still get great moments, but overall, it's not been good. It's becoming everything we hate about boxing. UK audiences keep getting played by Dana, one of the highest ticket prices in Europe and no knockouts. Aspinall, Pimblett, Allen, Murphy, Craig, and MVP, none in action on a UK card. Maybe I'm just being a Marty, but this was disappointing. I'm seeing discontent and criticism. My take: support your local MMA shows, go to more domestic events, take an interest in other promotions. The sport is more than just 3 letters, make the effort to find it. UFC is oversaturated, suffering from a lack of superstars and meaningful rivalries. We keep getting poor cards at ridiculously inflated prices. Add to that the creeping in of politics, ducking just like boxing. The UFC is becoming less enjoyable as time goes on. I paid £55 to attend UFC 204 Manchester 2016. Great seats too for a pay-per-view world title fight. Similar seats last night, nearly £300. I'm not earning over 5 times what I was in 2016. Hardly anyone is. You price ordinary fans out of events. It kills the atmosphere. As someone who never missed a UFC card, watched every prelim, listened to MMA podcasts, I'm bored of UFC. It feels flat. Styles are less exciting. UFC is the lowest it's been in years. Just a few years ago, it was the most exciting sports organization. It needs a shake-up. But despite the backlash, UFC London did just fine at the box office. Sportsnet's Aaron Bronstetter reported a record 4.71 million at the gate with over 18,000 fans. But if UFC doesn't appease the fans, could that change? Only time will tell.